You're watching MIA, where we go behind the brand to see how successful women manage it all with actionable tips and tricks you can use to create the brand you want and the balance you crave.
We're talking to Erin Resner, the co-owner of Dutch Bros Ready, and she's going to be telling us how she manages everything with her husband. And currently they have about seven Dutch Bros. What do you call them? Kiosks, offices? They're not kiosks, or way too many.
Yeah, you can say kiosks.
No,
you can say shops.
Okay, shops. 7 Dutch Bros shops, we're going to say that.
Let's say shops.
And she's the mother of 2, one on the way. You are the mother of 2 now. One on the way. She's got a 5-year-old named Beckett. And we don't know what we're having here, which drives me crazy. But they're going to find out soon. So we're excited about that. How far along are you?
I am 31 weeks.
31 weeks.
Yep.
Wow, when are you due?
May 28th. I have less than 9 weeks left.
Oh my God.
Downhill stretch.
That's right. So that's why we had to do it now, so that we could kind of get you here before this baby comes out. So I think your belly's moving.
I think you did also.
Oh my God, you got yourself something to move.
Yep.
Okay, so Erin, kind of the reason that you're here is because there are lots of women who want to know, how do you manage it all? I mean, you've got your kids, you've got your husband, you've got 7 Dutch Bros, you've got employees. How many employees do you have?
Usually we hover somewhere around 80. So between 75 to 85 or so. It's sort of like having
80 children.
Yeah, it's sort of like having 80 children.
And you decided to add one more to the pot?
Yeah, you know, this one I can actually put in timeout if this one does something really silly.
Yeah, otherwise you can fire and then never have them again. That's good. I don't know which one's better.
I don't know. It just costs money.
That's true. They make you money too.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true.
That's
Although
right.
there's no way that we could have 7 stands without all of our. We do actually have a really, really good group.
Yeah, you do, and people know that because when you drive through, you know, you guys have like a serious following, almost like a cult. Really, I mean, people love Dutch Bros.
I always think people say that sometimes, and I always think that it's really funny because I think of cult in a sense of like the show The Following with Kevin Bacon's show.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's called I think it's called The Following.
Yeah.
But the cult that he's like investigating, they kill people. So that's what I think of when people say cult, and I'm like, can we be happier?
I know. Okay, we'll say
hugs and high five.
Yeah, following. Friends on Facebook. Tons of those. So tell us how you kind of got started before you even had, before you had Beckett, before you had Dutch Bros. Kind of what did your life look like, and then how did you start just adding these things on and managing?
I would say that mine sounds a little bit silly because I was 19 when the first stand opened.
And was this with Chris, your husband?
Yeah.
Okay. 19 with your husband Chris. Okay.
Right. At that point, we weren't married yet, but we'd been dating over a year or so, about a year and a half. And I was currently in school with the goal of being an orthodontist. And around that time, I sort of had to make a decision about whether we were going to like independently juggle both of these things, and whether I wanted to be at a desk, or in an office for my whole life, which is not
you.
No, you know what? Now I know that's not me. My life would be very, very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of those of my friends who are either doctors or dentists, orthodontists now have all said, you really don't miss making the decision to leave all of us, do you? No, I don't.
You have such a fun little life though. I mean, all these people around you, and the community loves you. I think it's an amazing journey. So tell us about it.
Okay, so I was a college student then at UC Santa Barbara, and I sort of remotely handled all of the things that I handle now. So I would about once a month get caught up on all of these sort of financial things. It being one stand and only about like 8 employees at that time, that was much more manageable.
And that was your first stand was here in Reading, even though you were where?
I was in Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara, okay.
So about every 6 weeks or so, I would fly home and catch everything up
and manage everything. Because you are the manager.
Manage everything that included money or back office. My husband's the high fives guy.
He's the marketing guy.
Marketing.
Yeah.
like exciting guy. And I'm the like, how do we keep us afloat person.
That's right. And she's done a great job with that. You both do. It's a good team effort. It's a perfect team.
We're a really, really good team.
Yeah.
And so the second store opened about a year later. That was one on North Market.
Yeah.
About a year later, the second store opened, and we got engaged like a week after the second store opened.
Yeah, because you guys are crazy.
We are actually, and then soon, about 9 months after that, we got married. And in our first year of being married, we opened 3 stores, bought a second house,
Oh my God.
and got married, all within a about 9 months or so.
Don't try to do that.
I don't advise that.
No, that's
I don't
crazy.
advise that. When people say, was your first year of marriage hard? Or people say, oh, first year of marriage is always really hard.
I remember my first year.
We
Actually.
just really laugh and say the first year was maybe the easiest.
Yes.
What are you talking about? Because we were so busy.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that at that point there were a lot of things that we were planning on.
Yeah.
But we really had only planned for that year of opening 1 stand, and then 2 other stands came to us that we really couldn't resist, and so we attempted to space them out evenly about every 2 months or so.
That sounds evenly. Yeah. Yeah. Every 2 months we're gonna open a new store. Yeah, that sounds great.
And then we took a little bit of a break to settle down and figure out how we manage 5 stores. Because you quickly go from, I feel like once you have 3, you could have 10.
So you sound like having kids.
Yeah.
Again, once you have 3 kids, you can have as many.
Yeah, because you're outnumbered. At that point, it's no longer a man-on-man defense, it's a zone.
Yeah.
And you're just both playing a zone defense, and you hope that you do really well.
So when did Beckett come into the picture?
Beckett came into the picture about a year before we opened stand number 6. So in between stand number 5
And you took your break.
Yeah, in our time when we were like, let's take a break and figure it out for a little bit, we took a year and a half, figured out how managing 5 stands and all of those employees. I think that there were probably about 50 or so then.
And a baby.
And then we decided to have a baby then.
Wow.
And then when Beckett was about 8 or 9 months old, we opened up stand number 6.
Did you take time off? Did you stop? I mean, how were you able to juggle those?
I think that people think that I'm probably really crazy because I handled, until this last November, I handled all of our HR aspects, all of our financial aspects. We have an accountant who I work closely with. And then all of our billing, financials, anything that had to do with like money or paperwork.
Yeah. Okay, so Erin, what would you say is kind of one of the hardest challenges about trying to manage everything?
I would say that I sort of describe it as juggling. I try and keep all of the 10 or 20 balls up in the air, and I hope that while I'm juggling, nobody notices which ones drop.
That's true.
Because they do drop.
Okay, so you're juggling things, but you don't want anybody to see what ball falls.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that most often, probably with moms, or I was gonna say women, but moms and women, is that the thing that drops is usually ourselves. So I think that it's, or for me, it's remembering to like eat.
No, that's so true. I do that every day. Seriously.
Not that I think that somebody shouldn't eat, but
No, we just forget.
and remembering to do those things. So I think sometimes it's the aspect of remembering to do things that take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think it's when you learn the mindset of I need to make sure that I'm doing things to take care of myself so that I can take care of everybody else.
Yeah, like on a flight.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Put the mask on yourself first, and then your kids. Even like that analogy.
That's right. It's similar.
Yeah, a little.
little
Similar but different.
Yeah, it's definitely, it is definitely like a juggling thing.
Yeah.
But, and every day looks different. Like every day looks different as far as like I don't have a typical 9 to 5. So sometimes.
What is most of your days? What would that look like? If you could say there was a general.
Something that happens every day or 5 days a week is we both get to take Beckett to school, which is something that I think most parents don't get to
Yeah.
do, is for both of those. And it wouldn't happen unless we were entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Is to take both of us to take, you know, the kids to school sort
I
of
love
thing.
it.
And then most of the time, either one or both of us picks him up.
That's
So
great.
I would say that's the only thing that's typical. And then
It stays constant.
that stays constant. You know, things like swim lessons or t-ball practice, those sort of things stay constant. But our work life is very different. Maybe that like nightly meeting while you're both sitting in bed and planning out what is going on, you know, the whole rest of the week.
Or you just plan the week
debriefing.
for.
Yeah, I do that on
Or you're
Sundays.
yeah.
On Sundays, I plan both of our weeks for us. I schedule everything so that reminders in our phones, etc.
What would you say is one of the most important tools that you use, you know, to help you manage all this stuff?
For sure, I email and I text a lot so that I have a record of everything that I do. The other thing that I do is set a lot of reminders on my phone. I should probably learn to set a food reminder on my phone
That's right, to eat.
every 2 hours that I need to remember to eat.
Yeah, especially.
No, I've actually had to make myself feel a lot better about
Yeah.
it being pregnant than before, because you do just get really busy and then it's 3 o'clock and you don't remember whether or not you ate. But so being pregnant actually made me have to focus on that.
Hopefully you'll keep it going
Yeah,
right
we'll
after this.
well,
You'll work on it.
Well, 'cause then I'll be nursing, so yeah.
That's right.
So I'm hoping that like it'll be a 2-year span
Yeah.
of remembering to have to eat, you know, every few hours, and then I'll be better about it. Just work out.
Well, okay, what are some of the words of advice that you would want to give to someone who's either thinking about starting a business and they have a family, or already has a business but hasn't quite mastered managing all the things that they have to do? What would be something that you would
I would say one of the things that I recommend is to start small, but and in the sense of like take on something small,
Right.
perfect that, get really good at that, and then add to it.
Yeah.
And also I would say like don't be afraid to do stuff in the house as
Yeah.
long as you can. In between, you know, that's when I used to do, especially when Beckett was young, things where it was like he was just in the office with me
Right,
sort
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I do that a lot at night after he's gone to sleep. Any of those things. So I would say mostly like it's totally cool to start really small and get really good at something and then continue
I think
to
that's
grow
great
like
advice.
that.
Yeah. And people forget that you can start small and do
I'm not
something.
very good at starting
No,
small.
you're not.
That's how I would advise
No.
everybody else to do.
Yeah, they're not good at starting small.
But
And you guys are really into community, and you guys, I'm gonna ask you to kind of toot your own horn for just a little bit, because I can't remember all the things that you do, and I'm sure you can't either. But I really want to talk about it because it's something that I feel like has kind of ingrained you all in the community as just really philanthropic company. And talk about like how you kind of got into that and what types of things you do.
I think that part of why we do some of that is just who Chris and I are.
Absolutely.
I think the other part of it is that that's like Dutch Bros culture. And I mean, I was sort of raised that way. Somebody
Yeah.
asked us the other day about how do you keep track of how much it is that you guys donate, and or how do you decide where you give money?
Yeah.
And we both just basically laughed and said, we've never really talked about it. We have like a dollar amount in our mind that we both, of which it was funny because both of us had a different dollar amount in our mind of what we need to talk to the other person about, like before we okay something.
Yeah.
But we sort of just give
To do it.
Yeah, we just sort of give, and we're involved in a lot of community projects, and a literacy project coming up where people can donate books.
Yes. Tell us about that.
On the 9th.
Yeah. Okay, 9th of April.
9th of April, they can bring in 2 like either new or gently used books and
Okay.
get a drink for free, get a medium drink for free.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it'll be good. And then we do a canned food drive at least once a year. We always do one like Dutch Love Day is what we call it.
Dutch Love Day. That's
in
cute.
February. And so we do that. We probably do that about one other time a year. So we just have this ability with all of our shops to bring in a large amount of food and fill a bunch of food banks.
And you also do the Banff Film Festival, right?
We also are sponsored, for the last 2 years we've been a sponsor of the Banff Film Festival.
Okay.
So, I mean, for us, we both we love outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
And we also really love the things that bringing certain programs like that do, as far as bringing in culture to Reading, and so we like to be a part of that. I think we just like to be a part of anything that's fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And everything you guys do, even your fundraisers and anything that you do get involved in, is always fun.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it just is an extension of, I think, Dutch Bros and your brand is kind of just an extension of who you all are, to, you know, just as a family and as people.
Yeah, it's really been interesting. People ask, like, how do you decide which projects you're going to do, which ones are you not going to do? And it sort of has always been this thing that we felt like they were going to be easy. And not necessarily that the process of that is easy, but the idea and where we're going and the development and things fall into place. And so I think that sometimes people end up fighting for something, and then later on they're worried, like, why did that not work?
Right.
And
it shouldn't be that hard.
No, it should just be something that comes naturally and then it flows organically, and that's something in which those things are usually successful. At least that's how it's worked out for us. We've walked away from projects before that we felt like, this one's just too hard, we're fighting for this, and it just shouldn't be like that. It should just be easy. Doors should just, you know, I mean, you have to work really hard, but doors should open.
So what's next? What are you planning for this next year with this baby? And how are you planning to kind of, you know, I mean, this is huge. You know, you're having this baby, you start all over again.
On a personal level, I am running a marathon in November, so baby's due at the end of May, and then I think it's like somewhere around the 12th I'm running the Vegas Marathon.
That's a serious goal. That's a serious, lofty goal, and I'm sure you will do, because you have shown that you guys do some crazy things.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
I've been asked a lot whether or not I'm planning on taking some time off.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We know that you probably aren't, since with Beckett you were doing payroll the next day.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we went
that.
straight from the hospital to the shop to deliver payroll. So we're really, really, really blessed to have an amazing support system around us. And
does your parents live here?
My parents live here. They're not allowed to ever move. They always need to be within 30 minutes of us.
And did you ever get any other help with Beckett?
When Beckett was about, I felt like I managed it really well, juggling stay-at-home mom and working mom really well until he was about 12 months. And then at about 15 months, somebody else asked me, hey, are you looking for a nanny? And it was sort of like, you know, from a mom, that I was like, is it that obvious?
I know.
Is it that obvious I'm not juggling this well?
I know, it's hard. It's really
And
difficult.
so we found a nanny who's amazing. She's still involved in his life. She's actually the doula for us for this pregnancy.
Really?
And so, she was his nanny for about 2 years, and then he had one other nanny after that. So it was really nice. She was there for a couple hours in the morning, a few days a week, and
any of your business stuff that you need to get done.
Anything that I needed to get done in an office where a child shouldn't be climbing in the top cabinet or hanging from the fan, she was there. And it was really nice because most of the time they were at the house and I was there too. So if I wanted to take a break, I could just go out and play with him. Or if he needed to show me something he was working on, he could just run into the office. So
basically you set up ways for yourself to structure your life around your business.
Yeah.
You know, or your business around your life actually is how you structured it, because he was still around and with you, but you just had help. And it's okay to get help, and I think that's sometimes what women
for sure
feel like, if we're getting help, we're not doing it all, but that is very much still doing it all.
Yeah, I think the best thing is that we've learned is learning the things that we can delegate to other people. What do we do well? What are the things we really want to do? What are the things that we would rather spend time with our kids than to do?
That's right.
For me, that's like, I don't have the tidiest house, but I don't have the tidiest house.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I mean, you just have to let some things go. And, you know, it depends on how your brain works too. I mean, if you're someone who has to have everything neat and tidy so that you can work, then that's the type of person you are. And I'm not that type of person, and apparently you're not either, so.
I'm not, but I have friends who are, and they choose other things.
That's right. Everybody makes choices. That opportunity costs things. So, anyway, Erin, thank you so much for coming on and talking about your journey and your way of managing it all. And really, we just kind of want to make this show something that, whether you're running over 6 figures, you know, in your business, or you're just starting out, you know, we all can learn from each other, and
Absolutely.
it's a balancing act, building your brand and building balance into your life. So thank you so much for
Absolutely.